music and the readings have been so perfect to set up this whole talk this morning. And we're taking a deep and beautiful look at being who our souls are here to be by exploring qualities of the authentic self, because this is what our month is about, being our authentic self, and creating a roadmap to that center, to the core of who we are. The place where we remember who we are, and that is one with the one. Ernest Holmes tells us in Science of Mind, and this is on page 391, the eternal has placed itself at the center of our being. The discovery of this is the greatest discovery of the ages. Oh, it's been such a gift to learn who I truly am, and I'm sure you feel the same way. When we really connect with that I am self, and that divine God as us, through us, walks with us fully and completely. So this month, we're learning the language of our being. We're learning the qualities of our authentic self. And I shared a beautiful statement last week by poet T.S. Eliot. And I want to share it again this week, and I personalized it, of course. The end of all my exploring will be to arrive where I started and to know the place for the first time. And where we started was in the heart of the divine. That's where we started, in the heart of it, the center of our being. Out of the divine heart, we were birthed. I love that. We were birthed, and this journey of exploration, of discovery that we are all on, because we wouldn't be sitting here, we are all on. And thank God we're all sitting here and we're interested in more and more. It's like, give me more of this spiritual truth, because we can use it fully and completely in our lives. I don't even know where I was. Okay. So this is all about returning to our point of origin. Who we were before we were born. Because we were who we are now. That essence, that authentic self of who we are was always there, and it always will be. It cannot go anywhere. Who we came in this world to be before our experience, all these experiences caused us to wear these different masks that people wear. That song was so perfect. Just, we're going to be ourselves. I don't care what anyone else thinks, right? We're going to be ourselves. We do no harm. We just be who we really are, and be proud of it. Don't be cowering and putting up masks anymore. That time is over. Yeah. So we're here to be our authentic self. And this month is about returning to where we began and knowing it deeper and at a more profound level. Last week we began looking at the intrinsic qualities of the authentic self. 7 qualities that when we express them, we can know we are connected to that divine self, to that essence of our true being. 7 qualities that when we focus on them and have an intention to express them, we call our authentic self forth from behind the masks that we tend to wear. So let's begin the exploration this morning by returning just for a moment to the first 3 that we talked about last week. The intrinsic qualities. It was wholeness, as the reading just said. Wholeness, reverence, and fearlessness, like that song that was just sung. Yes, we're fearless. That's what we are. So a real quick recap. Wholeness. Remembering we are connected to the whole. Remembering remembering that we are whole and therefore complete, just the way we are, warts, wrinkles, and all. Everything about us is perfect, just the way it is. And so say this after me. I am whole, complete. I am one with the one.
I am whole, complete. I am one with the one.
Yeah, there's power in speaking it. Reverence. Recognizing the presence of life within all and honoring it as sacred. Remember Ernest Holmes' beautiful words about reverence. In the science, this was in a magazine a while ago, I just happened to have it. If we combined ourselves together, reverently, in love and compassion, in mutual tolerance and understanding, under the cohesive powers of the universal law of good and the beneficence of the divine and the universal presence, then we shall lead the world down the pathway of a new enlightenment. So, you're going to repeat this after me. I revere all life.
I revere all life.
Because it is part of the whole and it is holy.
Because it is part of the whole and it is holy.
Yes. Fearlessness. We get a fight song and we sing that song. I like that. Facing life fearlessly because I know that I am one with all that is. I am pure consciousness. Everything is pure consciousness. I am that I am. It's true. And to modify this line from the Course in Miracles slightly, if we knew who walked as us, there would be nothing to fear. Over and over, it's a great affirmation. If we knew who walked as us, we would have nothing to fear. So let's say this together, or after me. I know who walks with me, so I am fearless.
I know who walks with me, so I am fearless.
Yes. And that takes us to the fourth intrinsic quality of the authentic self, one of my favorite qualities, integrity. This is a book by Dennis Merritt Jones, Your Defining Moments, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be. This is the book I'm using for inspiration, writes this. Integrity is the inner knowing of the truth about ourselves and allowing it to sublimate through our minds and heart from the core of our being. It is the melding or integrating of the awareness of the authentic self within into our every breath, every thought and every action, wherever we are, whatever we are doing. Integrity then is the inner knowing and remembrance, he says, of our unity with the whole, and honesty in our outer actions. And that's how we demonstrate our actions' integrity in the world. We know when we are living in integrity because it feels good and it feels right. When we live from our authentic self, the intrinsic quality of integrity moves through us in a way that gives us strength and courage to be the person who we know that we came here to be. That little child that before it was covered up with muck and mire or whatever, life experiences, that joyful little imaginative child. That's who we are. That's who we truly are. We know we came here to be that. Even when, this is when we know we're in integrity, when no one else is watching. The things that we do are integrity with our beliefs. We do it for ourselves, always for ourselves. And then we can shine. We can shine for the world. Integrity, then, is the fourth intrinsic quality of the authentic self. That brings us to the fifth, humility. St. Augustine once said, "Do you wish to rise? Begin by descending. You plan a tower that will pierce the clouds? Lay first the foundation of humility." Humility is a complex word because it can mean different things to different people. Traditionally, it's defined as an act of being modest and respectful. It is also synonymous with humble and meek. In Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, we are given a promise about living from humility or meekness. And he said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." But what we probably don't know is that the word meek from the Aramaic translation means teachable, open, receptive. It doesn't mean cowering in a corner, which is how I was brought up to think that meek was. It's not as powerful as being open and receptive. Or as Ernest Holmes would say, open at the top. So humility, the sixth quality of being the authentic self, and is at least one way of looking at it, means being open to seeing different viewpoints, receptive to new understandings, not stuck in what our perceptions or interpretations of things are. So here's a little humility test to see, or not, how open and receptive our perceptions are. So listen to the following personal ad that was in the Atlantic Journal a while ago. Single black female seeks male companionship. Ethnicity, not important. I'm a very good-looking girl who loves to play. I love long walks in the woods, riding in your pickup truck, hunting, camping, fishing trips, and cozy winter nights lying by the fire. Lovingly prepared dinners will have me eating out of the palm of your hand. I'll be at the front door when you get home from work, dressed in nothing but what nature gave me. Give me a kiss and I'm yours. Call XXXXXXXX and ask for Daisy. What is this ad for? If you are thinking what I think you're probably thinking, you will be incorrect, just as 150 men who called that number and found themselves talking to the Humane Society about an 8-week-old Labrador Retriever named Daisy. That gives up. So were you open to a broader interpretation of what that ad meant? That's a broader interpretation. Ernest Holmes writes again in The Science of Mind, the divine presence does not force itself upon anyone. It stands at the door and knocks. We must open it if we are to receive. We have to open if we want to receive. It can't be closed up. It doesn't work. And especially doesn't work anymore in today's world. Be open and receptive and stay in your integrity. Be open in humility. Open to those new ideas. Open to new possibilities. They are infinite. They're infinite. Open to new ways of being. Open to new beliefs. Open to others with no need to be validated for your beliefs, approved or loved or feared. Just open and receptive to life. Humility is yet another natural state of being when we live from the awareness that we are one with Source. It's beautiful. And that brings us to the sixth intrinsic quality, equanimity. Great word. Equanimity. What the heck does it mean? All right. According to the dictionary, it means even of mind, especially under stress. Spiritually, a balance and even state of mind with the soul. It means being anchored in a state of mindfulness that is not disturbed when our human emotions, either negative or affirmative, take place. There's a story of a king who did not have as much equanimity. He seemed to be easily tossed about by life. He got very, very upset when things went wrong, and he got all puffed up and full of himself when things went well. And he didn't like either state. He knew that to be an effective king, he needed more equanimity. So he called all his wise men and his sages in and gave them a commandment. I need you to craft for me a saying. Make it short so I can remember it. And have it inscribed in this ring. That will give me comfort in times of trouble and perspective in times of plenty. Off the sages and wise men went and worked and argued and disagreed, but finally they came up with a saying and presented it to the king inscribed inside the ring. And it's probably one of the greatest statements I love. This too shall pass. It's true. Everything in life that we think is permanent, and we go down all these different rabbit holes of what ifs, this too shall pass. Remember that one. In his book again, Dennis Mary Jones writes this: to live with equanimity means we are perceiving whatever is in the moment through neutral eyes of the silent witness. I like that. Just as the morning sun shines on all beings equally, because it is incapable of judging some of us more worthy than others, the sunlight fills each in the same way. The same is true of our authentic self. It finds neither favor nor, this is still Mary Jones, it finds neither favor nor disfavor with what is happening in the moment. Equanimity allows us to become the discerning observer of life and practice mindfulness of being in a manner that fully integrates the remembrance of our wholeness as a state of being. That is available to us at your center, your core. Not a condition on the surface of life. So it's always going to be those ups and downs in life. It's the way it is. It's the way it'll always be. But that equanimity resides within each and every one of us, the silent witness. And that takes us to the seventh and final intrinsic quality of living an authentic life. And that is, you'll have to come back next week. We're running out of time. And we're really going to get into it next week on that seventh intrinsic quality. But now, I'll do a quick recap of what we spoke of today. Qualities. Integrity. Leading our lives in such a way that we wouldn't be ashamed to just walk through life and be proud of who and what we are. the decisions we make and the actions that we make. Humility, being open to seeing different viewpoints, receptive to new understandings, and not stuck in the perception or interpretations of how things are. Equanimity, having a balanced and even state of mind, and not being whipped about by human emotions, either negative or positive. It's like Don Miguel Ruiz says, I don't take anything personally, even the good stuff, even the compliments. It's like, thank you, and just let it be. Equanimity. So let's conclude our time today by these 3 ideas that I put together in a couple of simple yet powerful statements. And I want you to, well, I was going to read them, but I want you to repeat them after me because they're very short. So the first one is, today my outer actions reflect my inner wholeness.
Today my outer actions reflect my inner wholeness.
In humility, I am open and receptive to life.
In humility, I am open and receptive to life.
I face all of life's conditions with ease and grace.
I face all of life's conditions with ease and grace.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. Come back next